It's Ben, even though I pointed me. This is Sam.
This is Sam.
This is BS Time, the thing you're watching right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's get it.
Let's get it.
Woo! Welcome back to another episode of It's BS Time. Today we're discussing.
He's smashing the table.
I keep smashing the It's quite a fun. It's quite fun. You table, fuck you. You're gonna be the end of my career. Alright,
Pretty
so
much.
today we are talking about a topic
Yeah.
that most people actually like to talk about and complain because it's just fun to do.
Right.
And it's shows or movies that start good
Mhm.
and end awful in the worst possible way. So obviously examples like Game of Thrones, How I Met Your Mother,
Yeah.
Lost, stuff like that, Dexter. I know for you it's Top Gear with the hosts changing left and right.
I mean, like just different. What show do you call those? Like, it's not game shows. What do you call those? Like top tier shows?
Top Gear would be more of a, I don't know.
It's just a host change, right? It's a main character change, and then it's just fucking trash. I don't want to swear, but it's like not good.
No, you can swear. It's fucking trash.
Like,
I haven't
not
seen
good.
it, so I can't really say. But...
Not good. Like
Not
no.
Okay, well, so here's the thing. This is perfect when you talk about Top Gears because I know it's not the same as like shows wise or stuff, but
Yeah.
it's like with hosts. So example would be like The Office. The Office, the perfect example for anyone who's seen the show
Yeah.
The Office and loves it. The minute Michael Scott left, the minute Steve Carell left the show,
The
it
show's
was over.
gone.
It was gone. It
Yeah.
sucked. It was anything after that. I don't know. Have you seen The Office?
I haven't actually seen The Office, but I've heard about it. I seen episodes, but not the full.
Yeah.
Not the full series.
If you see it,
But Steve
Oh.
Carell is the
he's the main guy.
Yeah, the main guy, the spirit of the show, right?
And the worst part is when he left, it's the tribute. It's like they barely ever mention it. They mention it maybe in one episode by saying, "Oh, here's a picture," or "He's doing this." He was not even like it's like he never existed in this show. It's like in the lore of his character, everything is just gone. It's like he disappears, and like the creators of NBC, whatever, like fuck him. He was never in the show. Which brings me to another one, which is 2.5 Men. My God,
Another one. Yeah.
that show
Well, Charlie
should have
Sheen-
ended the minute Charlie Sheen told his boss
Charlie
to go
Sheen-
fuck
yeah,
himself.
exactly.
If you're the boss of that show and you know that Charlie Sheen, which was the most paid actor I believe at that time, male actor at that time for a
Is it?
show, he was. I think he was making like
for TV shows.
yeah,
that's
I
it.
think he was making
Not movies, but TV
no
shows.
for TV shows per episode. I think he was making over. Like, I'm not sure.
But he makes a lot of money. Regardless.
Yeah.
But like
He was making
he-
shit tons of money.
And the main characters like Charlie Sheen, like Steve Carell, they are the show.
They are
Right?
the show. So if Charlie Sheen left, there is no 2.5 Men.
Yeah,
It's
who-
literally a 1.5 Men.
I know they bring
With
who's that
Ashton
guy-
Kutcher.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher in, but like it's not the same.
Don't get me wrong, I get that they wanted to continue the show that they loved because the creator Chuck Lorre, he wanted, obviously had more ideas and he didn't expect, Charlie Sheen to just go up and be like, fuck you, whatever. He called him, I don't know what, but he basically told his boss to go fuck himself. I know it was more probably, I don't know what happened between them.
Yeah, I don't know what the controversy.
But I feel like
is.
if you get rid of Charlie Sheen,
Yeah.
it's not like getting rid of Jake, which was like, what was his name? Alan's son? I forgot. John Cryer's son. I think his name was Alan in the show. When Jake left, because he also had issues, he became very apparently religious and didn't like the standing of the show. So he told the show basically like, I can't stand how sexual and how women are whores in this and how guys act like this and that. He basically went full and hated the show. And then he came back in a couple of other episodes later going, I'm the same character that he was, but he disappeared for a bit. But it's not like him disappearing because he wasn't the main character. Like he was kind of funny at the beginning, like as a young kid who does weird shit.
Yeah.
But it's Charlie Sheen. He
I
was
know.
he was the show. Charlie Harper, I guess, in the show. Yeah, they getting rid of him, the show should have just ended there. It's like, can you imagine, like, I know this didn't happen, obviously, but can you imagine in Big Bang Theory, they get rid of Sheldon? What's the point of the
they
show?
didn't get rid of Sheldon. They find someone else to play Sheldon. right?
Yeah.
That's essentially what 2.5 Men and.
Well, they didn't say they didn't say like Ashton Kutcher is Charlie Sheen. It's not like they pretended. They killed him off and then they brought Ashton Kutcher as a new character. It's not like they said this is Charlie Sheen and you're gonna pretend that it's Charlie Sheen.
No, it's not. But they try to find another person
Yeah,
to his role,
to
right?
his role, which didn't work. As the new rich guy who takes over the house and Alan lives with him, whatever, John Cryer, whatever. Yeah, I agree. I think
it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's like for me, I don't really care too much about 2.5 Men. It was a funny show, but The Office I really loved. I didn't actually get to see The Office till last year. The first time I ever watched it, I was like, shit, I missed on. It was an amazing show, but the minute like, and everyone knows this, one of the saddest scenes is when what's his name? When Steve Carell was leaving, the last episode he was leaving. Like when Jim was saying bye to him, that was probably one of the saddest scenes in TV history. It's like, if you watch it, wait till you see Jim saying bye to Steve Carell. It's like there's nothing. It's not even improvised. It's like it didn't even feel like it's a script. So I guess it is more improvised. But the connection, like they felt like they knew that this person was leaving. And it's beyond sad, and then Pam says bye to him at the end. Oh, it was just bad.
I mean, like we worked with these guys for years, right? Yeah. It's like Friends, and then
Friends would be a perfect show. Can you imagine if Joey and fucking Rachel left? Well, I mean, Rachel was one of the characters because the whole Ross and Rachel. But can you imagine even Seinfeld? Can you imagine Jerry leaving, like the main character, or George leaving, or Kramer? Like the show would just be trash.
I mean, it's
and
not
that's
the
what
same
happened.
Anymore, right? It's not the same.
It's not the same. First of all, the writing went downhill in The Office. 2.5 Men is the same. I mean, I saw a couple of episodes. I mean, they had some couple of funny lines, but that doesn't mean the show is great just because it has a couple of funny lines. You can have the worst comedy film with some couple of funny lines.
Austin Kutcher is not the same as Charlie Sheen. Let's put it that way.
Not even close.
It's not the same. Like, I'm not saying like Austin Kutcher is a bad actor or anything, but it just. It doesn't fit that role.
No, it's like what it felt. It's like a game when they bring a DLC. They got rid of the main character in the game, and they're trying to continue it with a DLC. And Ashton Kutcher's the new DLC.
Like, imagine,
and it's like what? This is trash.
Imagine like Avengers. They replace Iron Man halfway through with
Thor or something.
What? Charlie Sheen or something. Let's put it this way. It will never be the same.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the same if. They change the character.
What do you mean Iron Man? I'm confused. Like, are you talking about a superhero movie with Ashton Kutcher?
No, like, let's just imagine, right? It's not like they're going to replace it. Like,
oh, okay. Just overall, you mean you're changing them one character to
yeah.
another? Yeah, I know, exactly. Like, even though the Ashton Kutcher wasn't supposed to be Charlie Sheen, but he was technically the replacement.
Exactly.
Which I know what you're talking about. Yeah, exactly. The Office again. But again, and then you go to shows like How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
To me, How I Met Your Mother has the worst ending to anything I've ever seen in my entire life.
Even including Game of Thrones.
Even including Game of Thrones. See, Game of Thrones ending was trash to the stage where I never want to ever see the show again. How I Met Your Mother had the ending that it's not that.
How can it be worse than like you never want to see the show again?
Because Game of Thrones, I liked it enough to watch the show. See, Game of Thrones to me is like Breaking Bad, except Breaking Bad is better because the ending was good too. But to me, it's a show like I'm not even counting, like I'm not even thinking about how bad the ending was. If I'm just taking Game of Thrones of like when it was prime, to me it's like Breaking Bad. It's a show that's really good, and then I would never see it again. I would never watch Breaking Bad again. To me, I loved the show when I watched it the first time, and I loved it. I thought it was an amazing show.
Yeah.
Would never watch it again. It's not like to me, Sherlock is my favorite show of all time. I've seen it like 8-9 times. I love that show. I watch Friends all the time. I've seen Seinfeld multiple times, Frasier. Those I can watch over and over. But shows like Breaking Bad, I can never see more than once without being like, this is so boring. Game of Thrones is the same thing. But because I know the ending of Game of Thrones, it's there's no point even watching because it doesn't feel the same way. It's just like How I Met Your Mother. It's still a funny show, but just because you already know the ending, it's bad. Anyone who's I don't think I've ever met anyone in my entire life that I've ever talked to that about How I Met Your Mother that like the ending. Everyone I've ever discussed How I Met Your Mother is like, this is the worst ending ever to any TV show. Dexter's another one, but I wouldn't put Dexter anywhere close in that list for like the top. It's written, it's a bad ending, but I wouldn't say I can rewatch Dexter. I haven't rewatched it, but I can rewatch Dexter because it was a really good show. the ending was crap, but it wasn't to the stage where like, oh my god, I would never see this shit again.
It's just
Not even
because-
up there.
Yeah,
Not
I see
even.
what you're saying.
It's considered on the list of the worst endings because the show is really considered. It's like Game of Thrones and because it was considered such a good show. That's why it's on the list because it's a really good show with a really bad ending.
So that's exactly what you want to talk about. Is the ending is so bad
Yeah,
that it
makes you wonder if you can you rewatch the show.
Yeah, can you you can't even watch the show. Even the show was great.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
I know you were saying when we were writing down a couple of things we want to talk about. There's an anime you wanted to discuss.
Well, I mean, there's a few animes. I don't remember the names, but it's just because the company short on cash, right, out of budget, and they had to cut it short, and it ends so bad. The anime was so great, beginning was so great, and then you just have to end it so bad because it's run out of budget. That's why it's so sad. Some of these shows that you even describe, Game of Thrones is probably one of the best shows ever, except for the ending, right? Don't know what happened to the ending.
I wouldn't say it's one of the best shows. At least for me, I wouldn't say it's one of the best. But it is a really, really good show. It's a good show. It'd be one of the top shows if people were like, if we're not talking about the ending, people would be like, I recommend you watch this show. But yeah, I never consider it one of the greatest shows of all time. It's just like Breaking Bad. It's a really good show, but I don't consider it one of the greatest shows ever made. It's just, if I can't see something more than once, to me, I consider it good or great, but I cannot consider it beyond spectacular. But then again, that's just my opinion. I know lots of people like Game of Thrones is their favorite show of all time, except that they don't count the last season, but they still think that Game of Thrones overall is the best show, and that's fine. I understand why. It's a good show. But so I guess more than the anime than you were saying is in our shows it's not less of the money, it's more of just the writing just goes downhill, or the creators like, how cool would it be if we just twist every fucking thing in here and just do this instead of this and see people's reaction. It's like, well, I mean, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity, you know what I mean? But if everyone in the world is saying at least 90% of the people are saying the ending is trash, I don't think that's bad publicity you want, because now people who have never seen the show are not gonna watch it. I know tons of people they're like, oh, I'm never gonna watch it because I was gonna start after the show ended, but now because I know the ending is bad, I will never watch it.
Just like you said, right? Most of the people, if the ending or anything is semi-bad, they would say yeah, I don't want to let you know the ending. You should watch the movie and stuff like that. But when I hear people say, oh, the ending's bad, or this game, the ending is bad, I would never play it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Can you imagine if I asked you hey, I know you watched this anime and then you just finished it recently and you thought the ending was so bad. I'm like, hey, do you recommend me watching it? You'll probably say, hey, listen, I liked it at the beginning, but it went down so hell. I do not waste your time.
Yeah,
so now
exactly.
Another person that could have watched the show didn't. So the company's not really making money by having a really bad ending. It's just making an appearance in the top 10 list of the worst endings ever made.
Pretty much.
I know Lost. I'm not really gonna talk much about Lost because I've never seen Lost. I know someone did spoil the ending for me.
You wonder what happens, right?
I know what happened, but I've never seen the show. So but what they told me what happens makes the whole show pointless. It is one of the most cliche endings apparently. From what I've heard, I know it's true what they told me about the end. I've never seen it, but other than the ending, people say it's one of the greatest shows of all time. One of the greatest by far.
Will you make you think what happened to those writers? It was writing so great up to the point at the end. It's what?
They're we're making too much money. We're fucking lazy. Let's just write an ending to twist everyone's brain around. And make jumping loops everywhere. Fireworks go crazy. People
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense. But anyway,
I think those were basically. I know we can go on ages about if you want to talk about specific video games and stuff. But I mean, again, at the end of the day, this whole thing again is all subjective opinions. Some people I know that did not mind Game of Thrones. I've talked to some people you know what, I didn't care. I thought it was an okay ending. They liked it. I know other people you know what, this is a creative way because no one anticipated it. So I respect that they did something that no one anticipated. It went completely opposite. And that's fine. Again, it's all subjective. No one's forcing you to like a show or hate a show. You know what I mean? So again, it's just all opinion here.
Exactly. Well, leave your comments down below. I'd like to hear it.
We would like also, a like. if appreciated,
Yeah.
a dislike if not appreciated.
Just one click.
And
just
that
one
big
click.
and remind them what's that big red button on the bottom?
Yeah. That big, lovely
Red
red
button.
button. Subscribe,
Yeah,
brothers.
so you know.
Subscribe, people.
Subscribe, people, please.
Like
please.
I hear from you.
All right, guys. Till next time. It's BS time.
Woo!